Brilliant. Right. Tyler, you're up. Yeah. Number 13, hearings panel on proposed trade waste bylaw.
Cool. Kia ora koutou. It was my pleasure to be the chairperson of this hearings panel and also the parks panel. And just a quick introduction, this bylaw regulates the discharges of commercial industrial waste into our wastewater network. And essentially it's the framework for trade waste consents. Legislation requires council to complete a review of our existing bylaw by 26th November this year, hence why we're running this panel. And council considered the review of the bylaw on 6th November last year and approved the draft bylaw for consultation. The proposed bylaw was not substantially different from our current one, but a few changes were proposed to address emerging issues. The most notable changes introduced through this review are for stricter management of trade wastes containing silts and sediments, or PFAs. These types of discharges are problematic either for the wastewater network itself or for the receiving environment. There is a lot of info on this, and it's quite high level. I'd also like to invite staff to be here to come if there is going to be any questions relating to those high level parts in the panel's recommendations. But I'll quickly just go over the key changes made to the bylaw through the recent review. And they are a reduced limit, 100 grams per metre cube for silts and sediments. PFAs including PFOs and PFH excesses and excessive levels recommended by the Environmental Protection Agency or the Ministry for the Environment are prohibited characteristics of trade waste discharge unless subject to conditional consent in accordance with clause 13 bracketed 4. So long story short, the panel didn't actually make too many changes in regards to the recommendations provided by staff. There were some small ones around PFAs and PFOs, but I'm quite happy to see if staff would answer any questions if we have any. If not, I'm really keen to move this forward.
You'll move it? Okay. Tim? Tim's happy to second it? Okay. I've got a question for Tim. Up there, Tim. Just give me a little bit of background, and it's a little bit of background on the two items there in item 6.3, mainly for the people that are listening, on the dewatering definition. And why did you change that? Or because not everyone can read what we can read. And the little bit on the trade waste definition, I know Tyler talked about it a little bit, mainly the dewatering one, please. Just a little, not much, just a little bit of background.
I can respond to that.
Thank you.
So in terms of trade waste, we had one submitter concerned that trade waste might unintentionally capture discharge which isn't actually from trade processes, so they didn't want, just because they're a trade premise, things like their general wastewater to be captured and therefore require a trade waste consent. And of course that's not the intention at all, so we've just made a few tweaks to that definition to try to make that even clearer, that it's only where waste is going into the wastewater network as a result of a trade process. That's when a trade waste consent was required. And the other one was just in relation to dewatering, and that was just a clarification that stormwater isn't dewatering. So we're actually talking about when, so construction phase, when water's being pumped out of the ground, that's what we're meaning when we're talking about dewatering. So just clarifying those terms.
Yeah, so just in my head, because I've done a bit of dewatering and I even see it on the building next door, they won't pay trade waste charges on dewatering, if I understand.
No, typically not. In the vast majority of cases, they won't. In some cases, dewatering is deemed essentially too contaminated to go to the stormwater
fair
network.
enough too. Yeah.
And in that circumstance, they do have to go to the wastewater network and therefore need council approval to be put through that wastewater system.
Absolutely.
So in that case, they need a trade waste consent. But that is...
Fantastic answer. That's great. So we have a mover and a seconder. Is there any more questions? Any discussion? Tim?
Look, I just wanted to thank Councillor Harrison Hunt for his chairing. It was high level and technical, and he's took the time and really stepped up to the plate. So on behalf of the council, thank you very much for your chairing. It's well done.
Okay. So with that, I will put that. All those in favour? Aye. Against? Thank you, that's carried. Brilliant. Okay, so now we're